I don't say they do less, but they could do more. What the Hong Kong people possibly don't appreciate as much as they could. I mean, a lot of people take the MTR for granted because it's there, they use it every day, it's part of their life, but they tend to take it for granted. Other cities in the world, they don't have these facilities. Hong Kong people take it for granted. They need to give more appreciation to the long-term planning. I've been in Hong Kong for 32 years now. I came in
2 years, such a long time.
Yeah, I came in 1993. Well, I think probably the biggest attraction is the Greater Bay Area and the attraction that foreign companies have. The Greater Bay Area, the GDP of the GBA, is bigger than that of Australia.
Definitely.
So if you said to a New Zealand company, hey, here's a place you haven't looked at yet, and it's like adding another Australia to your export market, I mean, their eyes would light up and they would be thinking, how can we access this market? And Hong Kong is the prime place to be able to do that. Well, New Zealand's had a very long-standing relationship with Hong Kong. I think probably the most important thing are those critical business-related factors, such as rule of law, accountancy standards, etc. If a New Zealander comes to live in Hong Kong, there's not a lot of difference in terms of the structure of how they operate. So the learning curve is not that great because they can easily fit into the Hong Kong business sector. There are some learning curves in terms of how to do business and some of the cultural aspects, but in terms of the actual structure of doing business, it's quite straightforward in fitting in. I think Hong Kong's no different than anywhere else in the world. For New Zealand companies going offshore, they will always have a learning curve to some degree to be able to operate in a foreign country. So they have to learn the local regulations. For example, in the food industry, Hong Kong has the Centre for Food Safety, has food and environmental hygiene, so there are laws and regulations that relate to Hong Kong, but they're not that much different than New Zealand. And the good thing about New Zealand is that before food products are exported from New Zealand, they have to pass quality control standards. Otherwise, they're not allowed to be exported. So there's already a level of security for the consumer, that they know that when they're buying a New Zealand product, it has already been pre-vetted to be safe before it leaves New Zealand. And then when it comes to Hong Kong, they can then have confidence that Centre for Food Safety is also looking at those products. So it's like a double check.
Same standard.
Very similar, and a double checking, double examination of food to make sure that the food is of good for human consumption. New Zealand's also a very big exporter of ingredients for industry. So whilst we do have consumer products that we export for purchasing in supermarkets, by far our biggest export is to the trade. So for example, exporting butter products, dairy products to bakeries. So you may be consuming New Zealand-made products, but you don't realise it because they're just an ingredient in another product that's been manufactured. So we supply cheese to entities such as Pizza Hut and McDonald's, for example.
I love it.
Yeah. But you don't know that you're eating New Zealand cheese when you buy a pizza from Pizza Hut.
Yes, we don't know about it.
No, but you are, including in China. One of the biggest impacts that people don't normally associate with New Zealand is racehorses. So we have a lot of racehorses that are racing at Happy Valley and at Sha Tin with the Jockey Club, who are New Zealand bred, and they get exported to Hong Kong, and some of Hong Kong's most famous racehorses have been born and bred in New Zealand, and then they are immigrants into Hong Kong and they do their racing here. One of the things I've been doing recently is bringing business people from New Zealand and introducing them to the Greater Bay Area, Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. and introducing them to what made in China means. And these are real eye-openers for these people. And another example is I brought people from local government in New Zealand to have a look and see how Hong Kong operates its infrastructure facilities.
Yes.
So I brought the New Zealanders up and we looked at water treatment, sewage treatment, solar energy generation, the floating solar on the reservoirs. We looked at the Eco Park and the T Park and the O Park and all those environmentally friendly initiatives that Hong Kong is taking, but even the people in Hong Kong don't realise that these things are happening.
Wow.
So actually Hong Kong government could do a lot more promotion to its own people in terms of the developments for the eco-friendly initiatives that are happening in Hong Kong. The stormwater drainage system that goes from Tai Hang to Cyberport. You know, there's a huge tunnel that goes under Hong Kong Island, starting in Tai Hang and going to Cyberport and taking all the rainfall that falls from the streets into that tunnel and disperses it into the sea. But when I talk to people on the street, they don't know this facility exists.
Does that mean that the Hong Kong government they do less communication with their local with the people?
I don't say they do less, but they could do more. If that makes sense.
That's great. That they could do more.
They do communicate.
Yes.
And if people can be bothered to go onto the internet, if you go to drainage services or you go to water supplies, there's a lot of information there, but the average person doesn't bother doing this. So really we have to encourage people to understand what the Hong Kong government is doing to make sure and improve all the infrastructure facilities in Hong Kong. I think what the Hong Kong people possibly don't appreciate as much as they could is the standard of world-class infrastructure that Hong Kong has.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people take the MTR for granted because it's there, they use it every day, it's part of their life, but they tend to take it for granted. The bus service, very efficient. You know,
Very convenient.
every 10 minutes you can catch a bus going anywhere in Hong Kong. You can jump on a bus and 5 minutes later you're in a country park. Other cities in the world, they don't have these facilities. The Hong Kong people take it for granted. They need to give more appreciation to the long-term planning and the facilities that have been put in place over many, many years.
Understood.
Yeah, and the MTR, the buses, the ferries, the airport facilities, they're all very much world-class and in many cases world-leading. My enduring memory is attending all the events to the handover ceremonies back in 1997. So I was very fortunate to be invited by both the Chinese and the British government to attend all the handover ceremonies, which included everything from the parade at Tamar in the rain and at the ceremony where the handover actually took place when the flags were going up and down the poles, and for the swearing in of the first Hong Kong SAR government with Tung Chee-hwa as the chief executive. So that's a memory. In fact, I still have the invitation cards for those events. I keep that as a lifelong souvenir. I've never really given any thought. I mean, I'm a New Zealander. I can go and live in New Zealand anytime, but I'm enjoying living in Hong Kong at the moment. So it's not really an issue on my mind at the moment.